I found the flyer by accident. It was pinned to a grocery store bulletin board between a dog-walking ad and a lost cat poster. My eyes locked onto it, not because of the bold, "Meet the PDA President" text, but because I knew that face. I had kissed that face. I had built 12 years of marriage with that face. There he was, Franklin James, my husband, smiling like a damn politician, holding a little girl who was not our daughter. And standing beside them, a woman, smiling. Close. Too close. She looked like she belonged. I stood there frozen, gripping a bag of oranges so tight, I burst one. Juice ran down my wrist like blood. My vision blurred. My chest tightened. And just like that, every time he told me I was crazy, overthinking, or just stressed from work came rushing back. But I was not crazy. I was about to uncover the filthiest lie of my life. Before I tell you how I survived the kind of betrayal most women never see coming, I just want to thank you all, truly. To every single person who has subscribed to this channel, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are the reason I keep sharing these stories. And to all my new and returning viewers who have not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? I cannot wait for you to hit that button. It fuels the space, and it means the world to me. Also, please make sure to drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. Now, let us go back to the beginning. My name is Keisha. I am 35 years old, born and raised in Nebraska. And for 12 years, I was married to Franklin James, a man who, on the surface, had it all together. He was 38, worked as a regional sales manager for a food distribution company, and everyone thought he was this reliable, church-going, clean-cut guy. We lived in a quiet part of Lincoln, had no kids yet, but were trying. I thought we were happy. At least, that is what I told myself. But in hindsight, the signs were there. And they were loud. It started with the work trips. Once a month at first, he said he had to visit clients in Omaha and sometimes Des Moines. I trusted him. Why would I not? We had joint accounts, a shared calendar, and no history of cheating. Or so I believed. Then came the late nights. Meetings ran long. Car trouble. Just needed to clear his head. I cooked dinner for one more nights than I could count. He came home smelling like hotel soap and mint gum. Sometimes I caught a whiff of baby powder. I asked him once, half joking, "Are you hiding a toddler in the trunk?" He laughed. Too hard. Then the receipts started showing up. A toy store in Omaha. A diner I had never heard of. Gas station charges when he was supposedly working from home. I asked questions. Gently, at first. But each time, I was met with a mixture of charm and irritation. "Babe, you seriously need to relax. You are always in your head lately. Is it your job stressing you? Why do you not trust me? After all these years?" And like a fool, I believed I was the problem. I cried in the bathroom one night, convinced I had anxiety. I Googled therapists. I started writing down my thoughts in a journal just to make sense of them. I did not recognize myself. But there was one night that changed everything. He came home 2 hours late, reeking of alcohol and cold air. I asked him where he had been, and he snapped. Not loud, not violent, just cold, calculated. He said, "Keisha, if you keep acting like this, you are going to drive me away." That night, I slept in the guest room. The next weekend, I packed a small bag and told him I needed to get away. I said I was visiting my cousin in Omaha. He barely looked up from his phone. "Have fun," he muttered. That was the trip that saved my sanity. It was meant to be a weekend of peace. A little hotel stay. Coffee shops. A solo movie. Anything to feel human again. But on Saturday morning, I stopped by a local grocery store near my hotel. I needed tampons, lip balm, and something sweet. I passed by the bulletin board near the entrance without thinking. Until I saw it. That flyer. A school flyer. The heading read, "Welcome to Ridgeview Elementary's Spring Fair. Meet our PTA president." My stomach turned, because the PTA president was Franklin James. His arm was wrapped around a woman I had never seen before, and on his lap, a little girl with his exact nose. I do not remember the drive back to the hotel. All I know is I sat in the parking lot for over an hour, gripping that school flyer like it was a piece of crime scene evidence. My mind was spinning. My heart was breaking in real time. The man I slept beside for 12 years had another child, another life, another woman, and I had just found out through a PTA flyer. I knew I could not confront him yet. I was too emotional, too unstable. And besides, if he was capable of living two lives this cleanly, then I had no idea what else he might be hiding. I needed proof, real proof, not just photos, documents, patterns. I needed answers. And most of all, I needed a plan. I stayed an extra night in Omaha and began my quiet investigation. First, I searched the school's website. There he was again, Franklin James, proud father of two and longtime Ridgeview volunteer. Two? Who was the other child? I looked up property records next. It took some digging, but after cross-referencing his name and the school district's zoning area, I found it. He owned a house in Omaha, not rented, owned. It was purchased 6 years ago. That lined up exactly with when his monthly work trips began. My stomach dropped again when I saw the buyer names, Franklin James and Helen Marks. I had never heard of her before. I pulled up her Facebook profile using the email address on the PTA newsletter. There she was, a soft-faced woman, maybe mid-30s. Pretty, comfortable, a mother. Her timeline was full of birthday parties, school events, family dinners. And Franklin was in every single one of them, smiling, cooking, wrapping gifts, like a damn father of the year. At that point, I no longer felt heartbroken. I felt rage. Boiling, pulsing, blinding rage. But I still did not confront him. No, I was not going to give him the drama he probably expected. I was going to beat him at his own game. I created a new email address. I bought a prepaid phone. I booked another stay in Omaha the following weekend. Then I did something that terrified me. I reached out to Helen. I told her I was from a local parenting group and wanted to learn more about Ridgeview's PTA events. She was kind, open. She even invited me to a small school fundraiser. I showed up, stayed quiet, wore a hat. She never recognized me. Why would she? That was the night I met her in person, the other woman, the one who shared my husband's heart, house, and children. She had no idea I existed. I watched her speak to Franklin in public like it was nothing. No shame. No hiding. He kissed her on the forehead, then went to go play with the kids. 2 kids. 1 girl. And a boy who looked maybe 7. Franklin called him Champ. That was the final nail in the coffin. Back in Lincoln, I started collecting everything. Screenshots of their social media photos. Copies of the property documents. School records. I pulled my own bank statements, and what I saw made me physically ill. Franklin had been funneling money into a second joint account under a name I had never seen. Helen's. He had even used my social security number to co-sign the mortgage on their Omaha home. That was fraud. Identity theft. I took a deep breath and told myself this. He tried to erase me from his world. Now I will erase him from mine legally, financially, and completely. But I was not going to do it alone. I hired a lawyer and a forensic accountant. I was about to bring Franklin's double life crashing down. I sat across from my lawyer in a small office in downtown Lincoln. Her name was Maya. Sharp, calm, Deadly in the way only a woman who has seen too many broken wives could be. After I showed her everything, the property records, the forged mortgage documents, the second family's school photos, and the credit activity tied to my name, she looked up and said, "We can destroy him without touching a single hair on his head." That was exactly what I wanted. We started with my credit. Maya helped me freeze all my lines immediately. We pulled a forensic report that showed every account he had opened in my name. She brought in a financial investigator who dug into Franklin's taxes and spending habits. Turns out, he had been double-claiming dependents on both sides, me and Helen. The IRS would be very interested in that. Next, we filed for a legal separation quietly. I had the paperwork ready, without even tipping Franklin off. We needed him off balance. We needed him blind. In the meantime, I made one more call. To Helen. I will never forget her voice when I said, "This is not a scam. I am not a stranger. I am Franklin's wife." Silence. I could hear her breathing shift. I told her everything. From the receipts, to the double life, to the stolen social security number. I sent her the marriage certificate and a photo of Franklin and me on our wedding day. The photo was dated 5 years before he ever met her. Helen broke down. She had no clue.
None.
She thought Franklin was divorced and just not ready for marriage again. He told her I was an ex who moved out of state. She believed him because he was good. He had practiced. We agreed to meet in person. I will never forget the look on her face when we hugged. It was not anger. It was grief.
For the years she wasted. For the lies she swallowed.
For the man we both shared and never truly had. Together, we planned the final confrontation. It took place at a neutral location, a park near the school. Helen brought the kids. I brought Maya, my lawyer, as backup. Franklin showed up late, like always, probably thinking he was walking into a casual family afternoon. But the minute he saw both of us standing there, his face drained of color. He tried to smile.
"Ladies."
Helen interrupted him. "Do not even open your mouth." I handed him a thick folder. Inside, divorce papers, credit reports, fraud charges, a cease and desist, and a letter from the IRS. He flipped through the pages with trembling hands. "Keisha, baby, please, you do not understand."
"No," I said.
"You do not get to call me that anymore." Then Helen stepped forward. "You told my daughter she was your only princess." He reached out toward her, but she stepped back. Her daughter clung to her side.
And that was it.
His entire kingdom, built on lies, manipulation, and stolen identities, crumbled in minutes. By the following month, Franklin had lost his job. The IRS opened a case. His name was removed from the Omaha house, and my lawyer made sure every fraudulent charge tied to my name was erased, including the ones he used to fund birthday parties for children who were never mine.
He called.
He emailed. He begged. I blocked it all. And Helen? She moved. She got a new job, changed her daughter's school, and started fresh. As for me, I stayed in Lincoln. But I changed everything. My bank accounts, my last name, my peace. I found a therapist. I joined a women's empowerment group. I started writing again. I even adopted a dog, something Franklin never let me do, because pets were too much trouble. Now, every time I see my dog run across the backyard, I think about how close I came to losing myself in someone else's lies. Franklin called me crazy, unstable, paranoid. But the truth is, I was right the entire time. And in the end, I got the best kind of revenge, freedom, clarity, and a life that no longer includes him. To everyone listening, what would you have done if you found out your husband had a whole second family? Do you think Keisha was too calm, or just smart enough to beat him at his own game? Please drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this one. Your support means everything, and it helps these real stories reach the people who need to hear them.
Until next time.
Protect your heart, trust your gut, and never let anyone gaslight your truth.